Hi, my name's Camille Abordo, and you're tuned in to IE Radio.
Talk about the creative process when you're in the studio. Like, what do you be going through? What do you be going through your mind? You gotta be real creative to make some of those songs. I can't just make that on the fly. So
are you creating at home?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Totally.
so you have your own studio.
Finally, yes.
Oh,
I do.
wow.
I started. That was one of the things that happened during this time of COVID, is that I actually started piecing together my own studio and working out of there now. So I am working on producing some stuff right now, but I'm also working on like collaborating with other artists and other producers and stuff. But really, to answer your question, my process is pretty random in the sense of like, when I want to get into the headspace to create, I usually just get really quiet and I meditate first and I just like listen for it. And then, I mean, you know, sometimes I'll smoke a little.
Sativa.
Yeah. I'm a hybrid or an indica girl. I'm not gonna lie, sativa gives me some anxiety. I already have too much energy. But yeah, I mean, I'll get into that space, and then the track either starts usually on my keyboards or on a modular synthesizer.
Oh wow! Talk about that a little bit. Like, how did art help you get through the tough times?
Oh my gosh. Well, for one, I mean, like my last single that I just released was, it's titled In Your Face, and that song is, it came from a very, very dark time in my life. Like I had...
Domestic violence,
yeah,
correct?
I had just gone through an abusive relationship and found the strength to finally get out of it. And I had really, like, I had to leave the situation kind of abruptly, because like in those situations it's just there's no middle ground. It's like I had to just pick up, leave, and face that, you know, head on. And I really feel like music saved me in that sense, where I was able to, I mean, I made an entire album with all those feelings that I had pent up over that, and I feel like the closing of that album that I'm going to be putting out soon is really just the closing of that trauma for me. Like it literally, I felt like I'm so much better now because of it. I feel so free. I feel positive finally, and like I learned so much from it, just emptying and pouring out those feelings and allowing for positive energy to come back into my life.
Yeah, you have to release every bit of it. I told someone today, like, the more you cry, the more you know that you're not numb to the world.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes, I agree. And I mean, it can be happy tears too.
Yeah.
Like there are times where I will literally just be so happy that I can't help it. I start crying and I'm all, this is embarrassing. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I feel blessed to feel so intensely. Like, I feel like it is a gift, and it's something that we should cherish, to feel so intensely about the things that we feel intensely about. It's amazing.
Has it ever got really intense when you're in the booth recording some of these songs?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've definitely cried, laughed. I mean, you could hear it in the song.
Yeah.
We leave my little laughs in there, like in mixing and mastering. We'll leave my little laughs and my chuckles. Like there have been times where, you know, I had a little crack in there just because I was literally borderline in tears. But we would keep that take because we'd be like, you can feel it.
Yeah,
you can feel it, and that's like the truth of it. That was the truth of the song and the situation. So why erase that?
Wow.
Man, being such a free being that you are, talk about getting all the power back that you've been getting.
Wow. Power. Power. That's quite a word there.
Very strong.
Yeah. I would say, I think my power has come from, I mean, for the most part in recent times, has mostly come from just freeing myself of limits. like in my mind.
Okay.
Limits in my mind, because I feel like through being in an abusive relationship, my mind became conditioned to react to certain situations and certain things to where I wouldn't necessarily be true to myself in those situations out of fear or just, fear of getting hurt physically or mentally or emotionally, and that carried on into other places in my life. And I feel like after leaving that situation, I really grew because I started to learn to free my mind of those habitual thoughts
And the subconscious.
yeah, and that subconscious, and really just build up from there and allow for anything to happen, like possibility, limitless possibility. That's why I literally have all of my creative projects saved under a folder on my computer called the Limitless Project, because that project to me, my project to me as a being, just a human being, I'm treating myself almost as a project, and I want to get to a point where I really am limitless, where my mind is free from limits, and
Free from everything.
Yeah, I would love to be an enlightened being. Hell yeah.
And I see you also talk about, the blue pill and the red pill.
Oh, my.
Oh.
I was going in
The
there.
Matrix.
Yeah.
The Matrix,
Bring about
Yes.
I see that a lot in you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I'm about to say you about to ask which. Go.
So which one
So
would you take?
which one are you taking in your life? In your wonderland?
I took the
and
red
your
pill, man.
creatures?
I took the red pill. I took the red pill.
Never
I'm
looked
going
back.
down that rabbit hole.
You gotta find out.
Yes.
If you don't find out, it's like, dude, why am I even here?
Yes.
Never gonna get the opportunity to come back and take the other pill.
I gotta say though, it makes life very, very pleasant and different, because I feel like I've learned to just empty myself constantly and just be in the moment and cherish every moment fully. Be fully conscious in every moment to the point where you are actually it's from the sense of just being able to appreciate it.
Yeah.
That is how you truly love yourself and other people, is by being present with them.
So now that you've taken the red pill, what is it like creating music from this other spectrum,
Oh my gosh. It's so amazing. Okay, so I have to say, there's a whole different vibe when I used to write from a perspective of just trying to come up with things, trying to come up with a gimmicky thing to say, or trying to basically, it's coming through your mind, your thoughts, but in some way, what I've learned to do is kind of approach it from a meditative perspective. So unless I'm feeling some type of way where I'm just I need to get all these thoughts out of my mind, it's more of I was explaining earlier, I quiet myself and I just kind of let it happen, let it manifest through me.
The one.
I'll sit in front of the piano and just in complete silence and just let it happen, and whatever, and I hear it. I hear in my mind how songs are supposed to be before I actually manifest it.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah,
that's so
very
interesting hearing it from
but
that
it's
perspective.
it's a different perspective for sure than me trying, quote unquote, to
Just
figure it
doing
out.
it.
Just doing it,
I
just
feel
being
it.
present and letting that almost rise out of me.
How deep does the rabbit hole go?
Yeah, I wrote this down in my notebook. The past has come, and your present will be there in the future.
Yes.
Exactly.
Very wise from that. Very
Yeah.
wise.
And your present will be there in the future.
I feel that.
And one thing too, speaking of manifesting, you were building up your first tour before all this crazy thing was happening.
Hey, beautiful.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. That's love right there.
That's love. All day long. So we need to talk about this Backstreet Boy situation.
Please, dude.
What's going on?
Oh man, that was such an interesting time. Man.
How long ago was that?
So I was 15 when I signed the contract.
Did you audition and everything?
Oddly enough, so it was weird. I had like one audition, but it wasn't like they were auditioning and looking for people. It was like they had already put this girl group together, and they were like, we need one more girl to balance this out.
Yeah.
And so like they didn't really hold auditions. They just kind of hit up like producers and stuff, and they were like, hey, like, can you guys throw out some names that we should look into? And then so this producer that I was working with at the time, Eddie Galan, threw my name out, and they were like, oh, can we check out some of her music? And then they were like, okay, we want to like have her in. So they called me in for a meeting, and I went to the studio, and I just walked in there, and the Backstreet Boys were all standing there, and I was just like, oh my god, dude.
Really?
Dude, yeah, I was like, this is not even happening right now. Like, I've listened to their music since I was just a tiny little baby thing, you know? So I was freaking out, and they were like, okay, can you, like, immediately just, like, can you sing us something? So I got to it. I sang, like, a rendition of It's Love by Jill Scott.
Nice.
That I just love that song. And, and that was that. That was a wrap. They were like, they like huddled up after that, talked for like 5 minutes, and then they came back outside, and they're like, yeah, we want you in the group. Are you down? I was like, yeah, yes, I'm totally down. So we ended up recording an album, which we got through most of it, and then we started touring a little bit with the Backstreet Boys, and I mean, after a while, unfortunately, the group did not live up to its name. The name was No More Drama. And there was definitely drama. There was definitely drama when you put a bunch of tween girls together in one room. Unfortunately, there was drama. And I also, sadly, at the time was getting a lot of opportunity to write for other artists and get paid for it, and they weren't allowing me to do that at all. They were like, okay, no, exclusive deal, can't be writing for anyone else, you can't be working on music by yourself at all. And I was just like, oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, the group ended up breaking up after a while, but I mean, it only led to like more interesting adventures after that either way. So
I see you have a picture with Stevie Wonder on
yes!
your page.
Oh my god, that's one of my favorite memories throughout my music journey, honestly. Just, oh my gosh,
Talk about
such
that.
an inspiration to me, that man. First of all, that man, whether people know
He's
it or
not
not.
blind. I'm convinced he's not blind.
Yeah, stop.
I beg to differ.
He's like, nah.
No way. He's faking it so he can look famous.
Like, you got all them kids, I don't understand.
No, he's amazing. He's actually, believe it or not, the father of electronic music.
That is big.
It's very interesting. Yeah, he is the father of electronic music.
Yes.
So having met him in my life is like a big deal to me. But I actually got to meet him because there was a contest for a scholarship to a school in LA, a music school in LA, and they were doing like this contest, and they had the news come out and everything, and there were like thousands of people waiting in line to audition, and I ended up auditioning, and I won the scholarship. So he so he awarded me, and I got to meet him, and he performed, you know, My Sherry Amor.
Oh,
like right in front of me, just like private. It was so cool. Like we had like a couple people in there. It was so fun. It was so fun and such a memorable thing to have met him and been awarded a scholarship to continue studying music. Especially because I knew it wasn't because of pretty girl privilege. He can't see.
Oh
So I knew it was my voice. So thank you. Thank
You gotta tap so you know.
He was the original
next to-
voice. Like, you know, like The Voice, like how they're all turned around.
Right, exactly.
I'm telling you.